What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Thank you so much for watching Errant Miniatures. Today I've got a really quick video for you on dry brushing. I was on Twitter checking out the Warmongers tag, seeing everyone's awesome models, and someone was tweeting about how they were having trouble dry brushing properly. So I figured I would make a quick video. I'm demonstrating this on a Space Marine Phobos Lieutenant in Reaver armor. And this is for my Raven Guard army, so this is how I paint my Raven Guard as well, I guess. So uh, it's really simple technique. Excuse me, it's like 2 a.m. I got home from work and tried to edit this, but realized that all my audio was non-existent. So yeah, and there's gonna be some awkward kind of ADR over the painting section, but yeah, but still, I think the information is valuable, and I think the footage of the actual painting is good. So dry brushing is a really simple technique. I go over the whole Bobby basics and nitty gritty of just how you do it. You can get fancy with it if you want. Let me show you real quick. Now, if you want to get fancy with dry brushing, you can do stuff like this. This is a Chaos Knight that I painted. I'm very, very happy with it. This is certainly one of the better models I've painted, I think, and I had so much fun doing it. But you need to get some transfers for that banner, though. But yeah, it's a great technique. You can do so much with it. It's great for basing. Also, once you've got your texture on, just dry brush it. Fantastic. But yeah, this is the way I paint my Raven Guard army. So, like, it's really easy, really fast. If I was doing a unit, like, like, say, like 5, I don't know, Devastators or maybe some Intercessors or something, you're doing kids with your Primaris Marines. But anyway, so what I would do is I would do the first color on one Marine, move to the next one, and just bang it out like that. Really, the longest part about painting a model with this method is doing all the details besides the armor. So like you can, I've clocked myself doing about like Space Marine an hour. So it's very easy and it's very fun to do. But without any further ado, let's hit the paint table. So, first step of getting this Marine painted is I'm going to take some Eshin Gray and I'm going to dry brush him with that. So, what you can see me doing here is I've got it on my crappy makeup brush and I am working it off on the paper towel. So, you can see there's still too much paint on there, but as I get closer to the right, you can see that it gets lighter. You're looking for very light coverage. You do not want to leave a lot behind with this technique. It seems funny, working most of the paint off, but really it works. So now what I do is I go back to our model. I've got it on my brush, and I'm going to check it on the edge of the base. Now you can use the back of your hand. What you can see here is that it's streaking on the base rim. That is not what you want. That will look terrible if you do that to your model. So I'm going to take some more off, and like I said, you're pretty much going to see me do this whole model in real time. It's kind of funny. But check again on another part of the base. You can see it just picking up on like the top and bottom edge, streaking a little bit, but not super noticeable. That's fine. But yeah, just gonna go and hit the entire model with that dry brush. And don't worry if you go overboard. You'll be able to tell when you are. It's easy to fix that. My methodology for painting Marines: dry brush, wash, because the dry brush will really get you all the highlighting, and the wash will knock it back. Now you can go crazy with the brightness on these guys, just as long as you're gonna knock it back with that wash. Yeah, hit the backs of his feet, hit the shoulder pads. You can go a little overboard on the shoulder pads and it'll kind of make them look weathered. I did that on this guy a bit, but then I messed up when I was doing some of the other details, so I just painted over the shoulder pad in black. Okay, so we're going on to our next color here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is now I'm working off some Mechanica Standard Gray. This is a bit brighter, so yep, see, that's not even like, whoops. But anyway, I'm sorry, I find that little uh, thing hilarious. I'm leaving that little camera mishap in. But yeah, we're going to work it off, and you can see when I tested it on the rim, it just picked up on the whole thing. You don't want that. There, it's still kind of doing it. We're getting some streaking. It's not really that is not what you want. You want it to just pick up on those edges like I said earlier. So with this one, once we've got it worked up, I'm still hitting almost the entire model with it, but I'm going a little bit lighter. I'm not going back and forth too many times. And what you want to do when you're dry brushing is you want to go back and forth across the edges, and that is what we want for our dry brushing, is just picking up on the edge like that. Can't stress that enough. If you got too much paint on your brush, you know, you're gonna ruin your model. And you can see there, I even took off just a little bit more paint just to make sure. So yeah, so you see, I'm just moving it across the detail once or twice, whereas before I was doing it a bunch. So really, dry brushing is all about building up your highlights. The more times you go back and forth across that model, the stronger they are going to be. So like I said, this is still going all over the model, just like the Eshin Gray, but I'm not hitting it quite as many times, if that makes any sense. I'm not building it up quite as much so that some of the Eshin Gray is still visible. Now, typically, this is where I would leave a model, but I'm going to go in with just a little bit of Dawnstone, and I'm going to show you what happens when you... Oh, you can see there, I kind of messed up and got just the straight Dawnstone on the shoulder pad. I wiped it off with my thumb, but I figured, hey, I'll show you the mess up and show you how you can fix it. But I'm being very careful, making sure that I work as much of this off the brush as I can. And you can see here, I'm just going in with my smaller brush. This is one of the ones from Army Painter. And you can see, still checking the old base rim. It's not taking off enough paint yet. So I'm going back in and taking off even more just to be sure. And now you can see that once I've got enough paint on it, or gotten enough taken off, oh yeah, that's just taking off a little more. You can see I'm just hitting like the very high points just a couple times. So the backpack, the kneecap, the raised kneecap, and I love the pose of that model. Just throwing that out there. And the backs of his hands. So this is just going to really highlight those parts, and it's very easy to get like this much of a brightness jump from the black to go out of control. You can see I'm just hitting it once or twice on the back there, hitting the side of his foot, and you can see right there, that's it. And you saw it in pretty much real time. I cut out some of the parts where I was saying stuff that didn't get recorded, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so you can see I've painted the metal parts here, and that's because it's time for liquid talent. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to wash the whole model with Nuln Oil, which is my preferred flavor of liquid talent. But you just go in and cover the whole model. I did the metal because I always wash metal, well, silvers, with Nuln Oil. Well, at least like 90% of the time. And I figure if I'm doing the armor, might as well have all the metal parts done. You see I did kind of the undersuit of his body, of his power armor in the metal color. I used lead belcher, by the way, but any gunmetal is fine. But yeah, I do that just for a little bit of contrast with the black armor. I think it looks kind of cool. If you're doing a different, you can also do like a really dark gray. If I do like any other color of Space Marine, I will usually do black for the undersuit. But I mean, really, that's it. Like what you've seen so far, that's 90% of the work that I put in. I just go in after the wash is dry and I do the rest of the details. Okay, and you can see he's done. I went in and did the other details, the webbing, the his company marking, the red shoulder pad trim. That's his company marking. I did a quick and easy like lens effect on that little like monitor on his van brace. Painted in the details on his base and added some ground texture paste by Vallejo. Just mixed it with some mechanic standard gray, and you know what? I have no qualms about putting him on the table. I think he looks pretty cool, and you can see it's very easy once as long as you know the basics of dry brushing. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty simple to do. You just need to know how to check how much paint you're going to be leaving behind. Just don't never be afraid to check the base. You can use the back of your palm. That also works pretty well. Or not the back of your palm, the back of your hand, your fingernail, or just some whatever you got lying around. Just check. Um, and a few points I want to make real quick. Like I said, very important to double check how much you are leaving behind, uh, and never be afraid to take more off. If you find that you've taken too much paint off, then you can do two things. You can get a little bit more paint. Honestly, probably from the paper towel, just go into where there's a wet spot and just get that on there, start working it off. Or if it seems like you've taken too much off, try and hit the model with it. If you Even if you don't think you've got enough on there, if you go back and forth across those details, it a lot of times will still build up your highlights like that. So I really hope you've enjoyed the video. My Instagram and Twitter are going to be in the links below. If you have any suggestions for techniques that I should explore, drop a comment. Also, I want to point out that the smoke coming out of that smoke grenade, that was dry brushing. I painted it in gray cere, hit it with some Militarum camo, and the contrast paint mixed with a little medium, and then I dry brushed it white, and boom, smoke. I mean, you really can't beat dry brushing for getting stuff that looks really, really damn good on the table. But like I said, be sure to leave me a comment. Also, please subscribe if you want to see more videos. I have a couple more in the works. I've got two that I've been working on. I'm doing some Colonial Marines for Aliens Another Glorious Day in the Core, and because I was on the Geeks of Grimdark podcast recently talking about my Night Lords, the episode's coming out soon. I am going to be doing an episode, probably it'll be out on Monday, where I show you how I paint Night Lords, who are not my main army, but they are just growing ever closer to my heart. They're just such lovely, heartwarming people who will skin you alive to make sure that the planet you live on does what they tell them. So, anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you're all having a great time working on your hobbies, and I hope that you're all taking great care of yourselves and each other.